Joe, who was the grandfather of Jesse?
His name was John James. He was born actually in Gloucestershire in England, and his father was a captain in the army and everything, and they got land here in Asdee, and he was a small landlord, we'll say as such. It was about, I think it was 17 people that had land
So
rented
his
off.
background was in England, though. He was English.
He was English. He was Protestant. But he was one of the first stories I heard about him really was that he was a smuggler, basically.
Yeah.
That's where Jesse's
tradition continued.
That's Jesse got his genes from, And one of the stories then I heard was there was mass below the Holy Well where we had just been, and a hedge mass because Catholicism was outlawed at the time. And they saw the peelers, as they used to call them, coming down the road on horseback, so they all scattered. And the priest ran towards Jesse's house, which was down in that direction. And he passing John James. John James says, "Come on in here and go up in the loft," he said. "And I'll hide you," he said. So when the peelers came to the house, they asked John James, "Did you see a priest running by here?" He said, "I did." He said, "He's gone down there towards the tide." He said, "He's gone back to Strand."
Fantastic.
So after that, he was a kind of a hero around the area to the local people,
One of the points that you make, I think, is that while Jesse did commit murders and did do, I suppose, what we regarded as terrible things, but he's blamed for more than he actually did.
Oh, he was. He was blamed for several deaths that he didn't shoot at all, in fairness. I mean, he didn't kill as many people as folklore will have said. No, he killed a few enough women, don't get me wrong. I mean, there was one bank raid, and it was the first time he shot and killed somebody in a bank raid. And he actually thought it was a Confederate captain that was the bank teller. But it turns out it wasn't. In the end, he killed an innocent man, basically. So.
Jesse and his brother Frank were wanted men, and the attraction of a reward tempted Jesse's friends.
It did indeed, yeah. He was. He went on the run for a long time, and then there was one bank raid that failed bank raid as such, and only himself and Frank got away. So they had to start up a new gang as such. It used to be the James Younger gang, and then he started up a new gang and two of the guys on board was Charles and Bob Ford, who he trusted a lot, to be fair. And in his home in Missouri one day, not knowing that Bob Ford was actually working for the governor of Missouri, he was straightening a picture and shot him in the back of the head.
The man who shot Mr. Howard was a dirty little coward.
That's it.
Yeah. Gosh, of course the reason he did this was there was a huge reward.
There was a $10,000 reward at the time. We go back to the 1800s.
Huge amount of money.
A huge amount of money. And afterwards, when he went to collect his reward, he was actually charged with murder and sentenced to death.
And he
was 2 hours later. The governor came good in his promise and pardoned him. And he went around for the next 10 or 15 years bragging about that he was the man that shot Jesse James, until in a bar one night, one guy got fed up with it and shot him.
A retired principal who spent 29 years teaching in Asdee National School, Paddy, how are you? Sorry. Pat Moore claimed that in Asdee, the men are strong, the women are good looking, and the children are above average. Can you quote an experience that can prove or disprove any of that?
Well, I suppose, having taught here for so long, I'd said the children were above average anyway.
Yeah.
They were scoundrels a lot.
You have a fantastic story. You remember a pupil, Thomas, who had a habit of cursing.
I do, yeah.
Go on, tell us the story.
Yeah. I won't give you his right name now.
Okay.
I will say that Thomas could or could not be his right name. But I won't give you his second name anyway.
Right.
But he had an awful habit of cursing. And I often had him, when at playtime now, I used to look out the window just to see that everything would be all right. You would hear them, He was deafened and blinded by the new time. But he brought that habit, unfortunately, into the classroom in odd time now with him. And the teacher actually concerned was Mrs. Eileen Moriarty, a lovely woman, God to mercy, And she used to send him up to me in odd time, And we had a sort of a ritual when he'd come in. I'd say, "Well, Thomas, what are you up here for?" And he'd say, "Cursing, sir." And I'd always ask him, "Are they big curses or small curses?" And he'd always say, "Only small ones, sir." And I'd say, "No, the next time this happens, Thomas, I'm sending you home to your mother. I'm not putting up with this anymore." And Thomas knew well what was coming, He didn't. He wasn't too disturbed about it anyway, you know. I'd say, go away now and don't cuss anymore, Thomas, you know. And I think I often said that I often saw him going out the window, you know, and he'd throw up his head up to the sky and said, 'tis awful lazy fool, that fella, you know. But one day he came in anyway, and I don't know why now, but I was in bed for him the same day, you know. And I said, well, Thomas, what you here for? Cursing, so. I said, get your bag, I'm taking you home. Jeez, he got an awful hop, you know. He got an awful hop altogether, and I meant it. I remember. And he said, sir, don't. And I said, get your bag, Thomas, I'm taking you home now, and that's it. And I remember him saying to me, my mother will kill me, sir. Yeah. She's an awful temper, especially when it comes to cursing. She'll kill me. I said, get your bag, Thomas, I'm taking you home. And I always remember he came over and he started rubbing my arm like that, you know.
Cool you down.
To cool me down, you know, as if to get rid of whatever madness had come over me. And then he says to me, fuck it, sir, have a hat. So, all I could do, I remember going over to the window and looking out into the road and doing my bit of laughing while my back was turned to him, you know. So when I came back to him, I said, Thomas, don't let it happen again. Go away. So I threw up the head again. He was happy out there.
That's fantastic. You have no more proof of the ingenuity of the growing population in Asdee.
I have very proof of the growing ingenuity of the... Not here now. No, I'm gone now about 16 years, but I had a very happy time here. I loved it here. And I have great respect for the people of Asdee.
With that kind of background, I'm not surprised. On the day, the then proprietor, the late Tommy Enright, hadn't expected a huge crowd and the level of celebrations.
No, he didn't realise how popular Father Pat was, God rest his soul, but and how holy the people around Asdee were, and still are. And
you were looking around, kind of under your eyelashes, saying that.
But poor Jesse's, as we know, poor old Jesse ran out of beer that night, ran out of everything, and the last that was to be drank was creme de menthe. And that
things were desperate.
Yeah, things were desperate, but it was drank, and you know, lads didn't care what they were drinking at that hour of the night. You know.
And I believe that the then proprietor was hoping for kind of more ordinations.
Well, he reckoned that he said to Father Pat after, like, is there any chance you could get hardly in about once a month?
Be good for business.
Be good.